Imagine a world where all the volcanoes erupt at once. A fiery spectacle of nature's power, but what would happen next? We're going to explore that today. Volcanoes, these towering natural structures, serve as conduits for the Earth's molten core to interact with the surface. Now picture this. Every single one of them erupting simultaneously. It's an event of unimaginable proportions. The immediate consequences would be dramatic, but the long-term effects might be even more devastating. Imagine a world blanketed in dust. As the volcanoes erupt, a thick layer of volcanic ash blankets the Earth, transforming our familiar world into an alien landscape. This isn't just any dust, it's volcanic ash, a mixture of tiny jagged pieces of rocks and minerals, with visibility reduced to near zero and air quality drastically deteriorated. It's like living in a perpetual fog. The thick layer of dust infiltrates every nook and cranny, making even the simplest tasks difficult. The challenges of navigating through this dust-filled environment are immense. Breathing becomes a challenge, let alone finding your way around. Even machinery is not spared, as the abrasive dust wreaks havoc on engines and moving parts. In this dusty world, every step becomes a challenge, forcing humanity to adapt or perish. In the aftermath of this global eruption, sunlight becomes a scarce resource. Imagine a world where the sky is perpetually dark, blanketed by massive clouds of volcanic ash. This ash, like a giant parasol, blocks out the sun's rays, causing temperatures to plummet. It's a chilling scenario, a volcanic winter if you will. As the mercury drops, the ecosystems we depend on start to falter. Plants, unable to photosynthesize in the absence of sunlight, begin to wither. This, in turn, affects the entire food chain, right up to the top predators. The impact on agriculture is also significant. Fields lie fallow, crops fail, and food scarcity becomes a very real threat. Meanwhile, the injection of sulfur dioxide into the stratosphere forms sulfate aerosols. These tiny particles reflect sunlight back into space, exacerbating the global cooling effect. As the world grows colder and darker, the challenges are just beginning. As if the dark skies and plummeting temperatures weren't enough, volcanic eruptions trigger another terrifying event: intense lightning storms. These are not your ordinary thunderstorms, but a furious display of nature's power born from the chaotic mix of ash, rock, and gas spewing from the volcano. This phenomenon, known as volcanic lightning or dirty thunderstorms, are both mesmerizing and deadly. The friction between particles in the volcanic plume creates static charges, leading to spectacular light shows that are as unpredictable as they are dangerous. Amidst the chilling darkness, these electrifying storms light up the sky, casting an eerie glow on the devastated landscapes below. In the midst of this storm, the world becomes a battlefield of nature, where survival is the ultimate prize. The skies turn into a no-fly zone, as volcanic ash presents a lethal threat to aircraft. Imagine, if you will, a world where the familiar hum of airplane engines is replaced by an eerie silence. The ash, composed of tiny shards of glass, can wreak havoc on the engines, leading to catastrophic failures. The ripple effect is immense, with global commerce and personal travel grinding to a halt. Suddenly, continents feel continents apart. With air travel paralyzed, the world becomes a much bigger place. A picture, if you will, the most intense eruption yet. An explosion of such magnitude that it sends shockwaves through the world. The sky darkens as a monstrous plume of ash and smoke erupts from the volcano's mouth, reaching high into the stratosphere. The ground rumbles as if the Earth itself is in pain, the seismic activity reaching an unbearable crescendo. The power and destructive force of this major volcanic eruption are beyond anything we've ever witnessed. The immediate effects are catastrophic, with an apocalyptic rain of ash and pumice devastating the surrounding areas. But the long-term effects are even more concerning. The skies darken for years, crops fail, and a mini ice age begins. The world is plunged into a period of darkness and cold, a volcanic winter that could last for years. In the face of such awe-inspiring raw power, humanity can only watch and endure. This is the apex of destruction, a testament to the unstoppable force of nature. The ground beneath our feet trembles as seismic activity increases around the globe. Imagine, if you will, the Earth's crust fracturing and shifting, triggered by the explosive force of countless volcanic eruptions. This is not merely the stuff of disaster movies, but a potential reality if all the world's volcanoes were to erupt simultaneously. The release of magma and the shifting of tectonic plates could induce earthquakes of varying magnitudes in regions far and wide. The shaking Earth, however, is only part of the story. Picture these seismic disturbances happening underwater, destabilizing the ocean floor and triggering massive tsunamis. These towering waves would surge towards land, causing unimaginable destruction and loss. Volcanic eruptions, earthquakes, and tsunamis, a trio of natural disasters, each devastating in its own right, but together they could reshape our world in ways we can barely comprehend. As the ground settles, we are left to deal with the aftermath. In the wake of such global devastation, humanity faces its greatest challenge. Picture this: a world where the ground beneath our feet is no longer steady, where the skies are no longer clear, and where the air is no longer clean. This is the aftermath of a global volcanic event, a scenario that brings not just destruction, but a humanitarian crisis of potentially unprecedented scale. In this grim reality, millions, if not billions of people would be displaced from their homes. Cities, towns, and villages would have to be evacuated to escape the harmful effects of volcanic gases and the relentless advance of lava flows. Emergency response efforts would be stretched thin, and resources would be strained to the breaking point as the world grapples with the sheer magnitude of the crisis. And then there's the question of health. With the air thick with volcanic pollutants, respiratory illnesses would likely surge. Those with pre-existing conditions would find their symptoms exacerbated, and even healthy individuals could find themselves struggling with the poor air quality. This is a health crisis nested within a larger humanitarian catastrophe. The economic impacts of such a scenario are staggering to consider. Infrastructure would be damaged, if not destroyed, in the immediate aftermath of the eruptions. Agricultural fields would be rendered useless, leading to food shortages and skyrocketing prices. The recovery would not be a matter of months or even years, but potentially decades, and the cost would be astronomical. Yet in the face of this adversity, the resilience of humanity would be tested. We would need to come together as a global community, pooling resources, sharing knowledge, and supporting each other in the long road to recovery. It would be a test of our collective strength, our adaptability, and our capacity for hope. In the face of such adversity, the resilience of humanity would truly be tested. The scenario of all volcanoes erupting at once is a stark reminder of the power of nature. From dark skies and global cooling to chaos in the skies, earthquakes, tsunamis, and a potential humanitarian crisis, the implications are immense. The environmental destruction, air quality degradation, and seismic risks highlight the devastation and long-term effects of such an event. While this scenario remains hypothetical, it underscores the importance of understanding and respecting our planet's volcanic activity.